Hi there, this is going to be a how-to repair video on a Gallagher S20. This is a solar model, 12-volt battery unit. It has its own built-in battery. This is the smaller one. There's a bigger brother version of this called the S50. Basically the same style and shape, just taller and different, bigger battery, bigger solar panel, but basically the same how you work on them. I've kind of went through a little bit of it. I haven't tore into it, but I have tested it, so I know what's wrong with it. But the battery hides in the back of this case. This takes a little 12-volt, 5-amp-hour battery, but it hides in the back of this thing. And here's how you open one of these battery things. Sometimes it can be kind of difficult if you've never done it before. If you need to get in there where your battery's at. Here's the easiest way to do it that I know of. There's two ways. I'll show you the way I do it, and then I'll show you maybe a easier way to do it if this is not so easy for you to do. I'm right-handed, so what I do is I turn it to where the battery box is to my right and the solar panel area is to my left. Lift it up, stand it up to where the bottom of this is resting off the table. This battery box here is a little piece of it that slides underneath this case, and so what you have to do, you have to press this down and enough to where you can roll this back, and it's going to go up and over the top of this orange thing. The hardest part is getting it past that lip, because you have to press this down far enough, and it's a good piece of plastic, so it's pretty stout and it doesn't like to move that much, but that's what it's designed to do, is to lock this thing in so it doesn't come open on accident. What I do is I take my right hand, I take my thumb, and I lay it across here like this, and I kind of get my arm up in the air, like straight down at it, and I put my weight into it and push down on it, and then roll my hand back, and you'll see how it kind of overlapped it, and it just comes off like that and opens up like that. Swivels here at the corners here. So that's how I open it, and close it back up. So it's like that. Looks easy. Done a number of these things, so I've got a little trick to it, I guess. Another way to do it is you can take a flat screwdriver, and this little notch right here. This is probably the professional way to do it, but I do it the way it works for me. Take a flat screwdriver, push down on that corner, and then usually you push down on it. Get over here a little bit. Push down on it, and then push it all the way through until it pops open like that. So if pushing down on there with your shoulder and the weight into it doesn't work, just take a flat screwdriver, a little notch right there, stick it in the right dead center of it, and just push down until the thing pops open. So just keep pushing, and eventually it's going to pop open. Gallagher uses really good plastic, so it takes pretty good force to bust it open, to break something. So I've done it twice and it hasn't broke yet. But that's how you can open up the back of this thing to where you can see where the battery goes. I want to test this battery. This battery is not the original one to it. This has been replaced at some point in time. But we'll test the battery. 12-volt battery. So to make it work right, you need about 12.4 to 12.2 on the low end, and close to 13 when it's fully charged. And we're getting 13 volts on the money, basically. So this battery's fine. So now we're going to power it up. This has a switch on the front of it here. I'm going to go and shove this battery back inside. I don't need it out. The way it goes in here, there's only really one real right way to put it in. If you put it in the wrong, it can bounce around. But turn it to where either it's like this or like this, because it goes between here and this there's a plastic piece right here, and just kind of rest it between there. So I'm going to put it like this, and it fits in there perfectly, and it doesn't move around. I mean, it moves side to side a little bit. Once you, there's a little rubber piece. It goes right here. It's kind of cushions against the battery to kind of hold it in place. Alright, so we'll power it on here. It has a little green light up here that flashes. flashing kind of slow because this has got one of those photo sensors up here that tells it when it's nighttime. I'm going to take a flashlight and just kind of shine it over it, and you can't really kind of see it in the video. It's flashing a little faster. And when the light's off, I think it's just not very bright over this bench here. Okay, so to get it apart, you need 3 tools. You need a Phillips screwdriver or a drill with a Phillips bit in it, and a couple flat blade screwdrivers. Just standard size work. I need one more screwdriver. See where one is hiding at. So you just need a couple standard size flat screwdrivers and a Phillips screwdriver with drill the Phillips bit on there. There's 2 screws in the back, so you just loosen those 2 screws up right there. Alright. Now you gotta do one edge and side at a time. It doesn't matter which one you pick first. There's 2 little tabs here, one here, one over here, and one over here, and it's locking this back and front together. There's a groove that runs all the way across the sides here, and they kind of lock together over here and here. So just pick whatever side you want to do first, left or right, it won't matter. There's a little tab inside here, so put one screwdriver on the inside of it, and you want to press it towards the outside edge close to it. You press and hold it, and you take another flat screwdriver and kind of go between it, and then just kind of wiggle, and don't gouge it up too much, just kind of wiggle, lift up. And actually that one, this has been in before, someone's been into it before. That tab right there is broken or missing, and this one is still there. So now we're going to do this one. Yeah, there we go. See, that one I didn't notice it was missing. So you press and put it in there, and he's going to push the screwdriver, this way just a little bit. So you just kind of take it and move it and hold it. It doesn't move a whole bunch. And it's kind of go in the corner here, on the side of it, whatever works. Don't gouge it up too much. Just kind of work it way past there, and it's kind of like the thickness of the screwdriver. Spread it apart. Once you get both sides popped open, lift it up, stand the unit up, and watch up for these screws that are right here to fall out onto your table. So you can always put your fingers over it and lift it up, so that way you keep track of them, because they're just there's a Phillips screw in the back side. This one is in there, didn't fall on the table. So now this front and back comes apart, and this flat plastic fascia up here is got a foam gasket between here and that's this clear shield, and it's kind of stuck to, so he's got to kind of pry it away from it. Just kind of throw that circuit board behind it. Take this, and it's kind of latched in up here at the bottom. I always kind of pull it towards me and grab the center and kind of wiggle and lift, and it comes right off there. And that's these 2 little tabs here. They kind of lock in down here and down here. So just take that clear plastic front, kind of set it off to the side. So that'd be the last thing you put on after you get this thing fixed. So what this unit was doing, I didn't test it, I didn't show that part, is it's putting like 0.2 kV. So it is clicking, it is flashing, the battery was fine. So it was the board has got the issue in it. So what we're going to do, we're going to repair this board rather than replace it, and that's a lot cheaper to do than buying a $120 board or whatever brand new boards go for. So that's what we're going to do to this one. So if you have a S20 or an S50 or even like an S17 or whatever, or any other brand really, if your unit pulses and flashes and makes noise like it's trying to work like normal, then your battery's fine. So So don't go and buy another $20, $30, $40 battery just because it's not putting out anything. If it's flashing and clicking and trying to work, then the battery is not the problem. The battery just gives the unit power to turn itself on. It doesn't have anything to do with the output of the unit. That has all to do with the circuit board on the inside. And this is the circuit board. It's a two-part board, but if you ever buy a new board, it comes together just like this. If your board's got issues, you can always take it apart. If you don't want to work on the board, you can take send us this whole plastic and the board, or take the board out. All of them, S50 and S20s have one screw at least that hold this bigger portion of the board. The later ones, when they started doing it, but they put a second screw up here to hold this little switchboard in, so you can remove both screws, unplug these wires, and send us just the board, the two parts of the board together as one piece. Or if you don't want to take it all apart like that, send us just this black plastic front with the board attached in it. Or if you don't even want to go that deep, if your unit's flashing and clicking, take the battery out at least. That'll save you a little bit of money on freight and everything, because just have a little weight to it. I don't think it'll save you that much, but if you want to take the battery out to save a little bit of money on freight, you can do that. But what we're going to do is I'm going to unplug this battery wire, which is this one right here, and you got your fence and ground wire that plugs in over here. Push that out of the way. So what this unit was doing, and we didn't show that part, forgot to do it, was pulsing, flashing, clicking like normal, just had very, very low output. And what's wrong with this one is probably this transformer. So we're going to repair this board by putting on a new transformer. The screws are pretty short in the thing. So flip this over. One thing you'll want to do is this capacitor right here. Sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're red. A majority of them are red on these Gallaghers. Just because the dumb things hold a charge. So flip the board over, take a pair of needle nose or some kind of pair of pliers or a screwdriver, and just touch the two terminals together where the solder joints are on the capacitor. Just touch them at the same time together, and it may or may not pop and discharge. It just depends on when you turned it off. Is on the charge or discharge phase. No, didn't discharge. That doesn't mean the board's bad. It just means that when we turned it off, we must have been on the discharge phase rather than the charge phase. So we just lucked out that we timed it right to turn it off when it wasn't charging it back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this transformer. So we are going to desolder it off here with some desoldering braid. It's got 4 solder joints on there, and they're offset over here versus over here. They're not a perfect square, so you really can't get this transformer plugged in the wrong way. It only fits one way. And this is kind of basic soldering. It's nothing too terrible, but you'll definitely want to do it right. So you suck the solder off each spot. And this one also has a couple screws on the back side holding this transformer in. So you want to, just a couple Phillips screws. So you got to remove those. You don't have to reuse them, but once you put the new transformer in, solder it back on, put the board in, fasten it back down, transformer's not going to move. Now looking at the transformer, I don't really see any visible. Oh, it's hard to see, but there's a crack. It's hard to see. Kind of see there's a crack right here. I can rub my finger across it and you can kind of hear my fingernail catching it. There's a crack right there. I imagine it goes across the secondary side of the transformer. So sometimes you'll see a little burn hole inside there, and you can kind of see how this is kind of lighter than it is up here, so maybe something burnt in there too. But that is what's bad in this thing. So we are going to install a new transformer. And this should solve the issue and get this customer going. And this particular unit, we're going to see how old it is. How old is it? There's a sticker. 2011. So it's 2018, so it's almost 7 years old. So we're going to plug this new transformer in. So you want to make sure the tabs are all straight and not bent too much. So like I said, it only plugs in one way. And there was some crap on the board here. That's been from the old transformer. Alright, so we're going to plug this in here. Probably I'm going to go and put the screws in it because that'll probably help hold the thing in while I'm trying to solder it. Solder it on there. It's just basic soldering. Not terrible stuff to do as long as you do it right. So that's done. Now what we'll do is we need to test this thing. So let's just kind of temporarily put this over here like this. And we'll grab a battery wire to plug onto it. Somewhere. I don't know where my battery wire is. So we'll just reassemble it and we'll test it after the fact. But I'm pretty confident that this is going to solve the issue based on what it was doing. Put that screw back in it. Now we can plug our wires back into it. There's your battery wire. You got your black and red wire here. It's labeled on the ground, fence and earth. Red's your fence. Black's your earth. And then we need to tuck these wires out of the way because these little screw holes right there, you don't want the wires getting in front of it or getting pinched anywhere, because as soon as you pinch that and you put a screw through it, you chew up the wires. So I always kind of put some above and some below. And then you got this black plastic flap thing right here on this steel that goes right there under, right above this orange thing underneath this lip right here. So this goes underneath. Wires go up above and below, and then clip that back together. Now I'm going to go ahead and it's powered on. The battery is still hooked up. I'm going to I need to turn my light on so that light will flash a little faster for me, because there's a little photo sensor up inside this deal that does the nighttime save deal for these things. It slows it down at night, so it was kind of slow because it thought it was nighttime because there's not a lot of light over top of it. Looks like the left is my ground on the back and the right is my fence on the back. .8, 7.7, so about 8,000 volts coming out of it roughly. So this thing's working good. Now I was putting out 0.2, so we went from 0.2 kV on the voltage to almost 8,000 volts on the voltage. So this thing's working really good again. Now you lay it face down and put your screws back into it. and the other one fell out, and I didn't see where it went, so I'm going to just put another. I've got spare screws for these units. Now there's a lot of, most of the Gallaghers use a similar screw in a lot of their units, so I got a pile of them sitting here. Might clutch down just a little bit. Just making sure it's all the way in there. Yep, that's good. Alright, now you got to put that clear front piece back on. And people ask me every once in a while, how do you clean these solar panels? What do you use to clean them with? If you want to clean them, or if you need to clean the front of your clear lens, or the inside of the clear lens, just water works fine. But if you want to use a cleaning material, just non-toxic stuff works fine. Windex, you know, just some, I don't know, any really cleaning stuff works fine. It doesn't hurt that much. But to put this back together, you need get these two little ear things, one here and one right there. You got to get them up underneath in the corners here, up here and here. Just kind of get it up underneath, hold it, get that little ear up underneath and hold it, and I usually turn it this way, and hold on. There's a solar panel shifted on us a little bit. There's these little grooves right here and here. They go on the sides of the solar panel, and this solar panel is shifted just a little bit that way. So it was this clear lens was hitting it, and you don't want, because that solar panel is glass. So if you try to force it and it's hitting that solar panel, and you force this thing shut, you're gonna crack that solar panel. Once you get those two things stuck underneath, you got these two little tab things right here and here. What I do is I squeeze it with my hand. Just take your hand and squeeze it. Take a screwdriver and just tap it like this, but hard. Just usually one good hit as you're squeezing it, hitting this. That will get this tab to go up, and it will go underneath here. So tap it. Go over here, squeeze it, and hit it real hard once. And maybe come back over and squeeze a little bit more. So that's it. So this unit is working again. This is a repair video on a Gallagher S20. Hopefully this helped you out. If you ever got any questions on how to repair one, or need some parts, or want to send us something for repair, we're at fencerfixer.com is our website. So you can go there and find out a little more about us. We repair all makes and models of these fence boxes, all ages and stuff. So if you've got a unit that needs worked on, we'd be happy to look at it for you. If you'd like to subscribe to our channel, we'd be happy to get you a subscriber. If you want to check out some more of our videos, got a whole big pile of videos on YouTube of these things, how-tos and repairs and explanation how things work, and just some generic testing videos of showing some that work that we've fixed and everything. But we get a lot of units in for repair. I don't know how big of a repair outfit we are compared to a lot of other places, but we do quite a bit of work for people. We get a lot of repairs from individuals, but we got a handful of farm stores out there that send us things in, but we get a lot of them straight from the farmers themselves that use these things. But anyways, we get 18-month warranties on everything that we work on. Lightning damage is part of our warranty. We get free estimates as well. But hopefully this video helps you out. If you ever want to send us a unit for repair, we'd be happy to work on one for you. Until we do another video, we will see you later.